I'm John Townsend, founder of the Institute of Coffee, and I'm here today with Sanremo to talk to you about not only the Opera coffee machine, but also the X-One that I have here on my right. Now, this is an absolutely amazing pairing to have, and a lot of the reason behind that is that you can do so much with the X-One Grinder. Now, something that we really need to consider before we even make an espresso is what grinder we're going to be using to make it. Now, most people overlook the grinder that they're using, and it's a really big error to be doing because it's the thing that happens before you even get your espresso shot out. Now, if you follow the chain from harvesting to processing to roasting, all of these are very important aspects that you have to take a lot of care when dealing with, and the same can be said for when you get here and you start grinding your coffee. So with the X-One, we have the capability to actually change quite a lot of what we're doing and have more control over it. With the technical partnership we have with Zurich University, we've been able to conduct studies around the loss of aroma and aroma intensity. And by using the X-One Grinder and its incredible burr set, which is a 98 vertical diamond-like carbon coating, we're allowed to then have less retention and create more freshness, allowing more aroma to come through, which is how we taste and also enjoy coffee a lot more. One of the biggest innovations with the X-One Grinder is we have weight by beans, which means that we have a scale above here in a loading cell, just below the hopper, that weighs out each beans by the dose that you choose by selecting it on the front panel here. So if you're going between 16, 18, 19, every single time you're going to get that exact amount through, which for me, if I'm working, that's what I need to get consistent shots out of the machine. So together, they work so well. Now, something you might be surprised about with this grinder, and I was as well when I first saw it, was you can see two hoppers on the top, which are quite visible, but when you take off this little panel here, we actually have a bypass grinder. So when we go into our settings on the middle button, we can actually then have a third coffee that we can then use a recipe for. Be that for filter, espresso, or what I like to use are frozen coffee beans as well. So a lot to choose from. Now, on conventional grinders, when you're making an adjustment, you're usually using a dial that you're adjusting either left or right to be able to make those small adjustments for your recipe. Now with the X-One, you can actually go into your menu and you can change the distance between the burrs in microns. So it allows us to go from what we have on the screen here, espresso to filter very easily while in a busy shift and not have to make countless amounts of adjustments. It's making my life easy and it'll probably make yours too. Now, when you're setting up a cafe, one of the first things you need to think about is the amount of space you have on your worktop. What I've found in the past is that you end up overcrowding it with a lot of grinders for a lot of different coffees. And with the X-One, you can actually put essentially 3 coffees in one small space on your counter. And space is money, so it will allow you to put more items on the actual worktop for you to have a better workflow and happier staff. Another issue you might find when you're dialing in the morning is the amount of coffee that you're losing from essentially purging shots whenever you change your grind size. Now with the X-One, you don't have that problem. You have less retention, and every time that you make an adjustment, you don't have to waste as much coffee as in commercial grinders. It can sometimes be up to 5 to 9 grams of coffee, but with this one, no more than 0.5, 0.6. So happy days on your profit margins.